All right. Well, college football is kind of back, depending upon what you thought of that TCU UNC game. Definitely got me off on the wrong foot with the loss, as I had TCU winning that game, covering the spread, and Sonny Dykes made me look like a jerk. So hopefully your early picks are not off to a bad start like mine are, but there's still, what, 6 or 7 games here today to recover from. Mainly, we're going to cover today a conference game that matters, which is NC State playing against Virginia in Charlottesville. That will be kicking off any moment now. USC is playing San José State right now, so we'll definitely monitor that as well and work out some bugs along the way, I'm sure, with the live stream. But thanks for checking in with College Football Express here on day one of week 0. The college football season is officially back, and we're here to watch some games, see how Bo Pribula does moving from Missouri over to Virginia after they get to the ACC championship game, have the best season in school history with an 11-3 record, playing on NC State, who has CJ Bailey, maybe one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the ACC, one of the best in the country, returning. But he's got a bunch of new friends around. Some of them are old friends like JoJo Trader and Chance Robinson and Popo Aguirre on the defensive side. 3 transfers coming in from the Miami Hurricanes. So I'm definitely interested to see what NC State can do. They are my dark horse, or one of my 2 dark horses for the ACC, but I'm not sure if they should even be a dark horse because they have on paper on the FPI one of the 2 easiest conference schedules heading into the season for the ACC. But last year, that was completely wrong when it was all said and done as well. So you'll see me looking over to this direction as you look. Often that's where my TV screen is as I turn my computer setup along. So I'm with you as I have the dashboard going on. Definitely take your guys' comments throughout the game, and hopefully see if some of the little plugins I have in here are good to keep the games updated scoreboard wise as we go through that. So first of all, make sure you're voting in the chat on who you think is going to win this Virginia NC State game. We'll check in on USC as well. We'll cover some of whatever breaking crazy news maybe at a halftime, but I'd love to just focus on actual football after a year of playing, or 9 months or so of dealing with courts and lawyers and Congress and bullshit. By the way, I hated the Cody Campbell Protect College Sports Act ad just as an ad. Whether you're for the act or not, I thought it was a terrible ad. Fire agency, hire me, even though I don't want the PCSA to pass in the way that it's currently constituted, but there are parts of it that I do like, just not some of it. So I'm wondering what your guys' take on the ads were, but definitely vote on everything. If you're over on X, consider coming over to CFB Express over on YouTube so that you can jump into the chat as well. Just appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe as well if it's your first chance checking out this channel. You can, of course, do super chats and appreciate all that support. But I'm really just here to chop it up at the sort of the bar car of the College Football Express with everybody, and waiting here for the game to kick off. Let me drop this graphic and see whether we're getting the updates correctly from these other cards. So SC only up 7. Let me tweak that a little bit so we don't see any of it getting cut off unnecessarily. So yeah, a little bit different score than I would have expected at the end of the first quarter for Lincoln Riley and Jaden Maeva and crowd. I did not watch any of that. So if you've been watching that game, give us a summary of what you've seen so far as we wait for kickoff on NC State UVA. And while we're waiting for that to happen, let's say hello to some of you who have been kind enough to sit back, watch the TV over to one side, check out the chat here. Definitely appreciate you guys stopping in. And first, that would be our friend Antoine Johnson, who says the TCU is who I thought they were. Well, I thought that they were like maybe in the top tier of the Big 12, and that UNC was in the bottom 3 or 4 of the ACC, and maybe that actually proves out to be true when it's all said and done. But I gotta say, that was a sloppy game in the rain. I at least got the under correct. I definitely did not get the pick right on the money line or on the spread. So there you go. Appreciate that. Antoine, thanks for joining and being a member as well. Now that the season's starting, I'm going to be doing a lot more instant daily live members only stuff among the other things we're doing. I think I got that straight. Also joining us and becoming a member as well is Mama Duck Clemson Tiger. Thanks for joining and supporting the channel. I do greatly appreciate it. Love talking with you in the chats on the other channels as well. I have a weird feeling about Clemson this year that you may or may not like, because I think it's going to start rough for Clemson, but I'm really hoping it doesn't. But I think it's going to end well for Clemson, even if it starts rough. Clemson has, 3 hard games, I think, in their first 5, between opening up at LSU, which I would love to see Clemson win that game. No offense to any of our Tigers fans, just to be chaos. I just want chaos. Has to go to Cal, which I think is a tough road game, and then plays Miami and Death Valley, and there everyone knows where my allegiance will be. But I think Clemson might be better than people expect once it's all said and done, and maybe even better than I thought a few weeks ago. So thanks for joining us as well. John Dry is here, as always. Appreciate that, man. Let's go. NC State, a future Big 12 school. John Dry will never be more than 5 minutes away from a realignment thought, as is the Texas Tech Red Raiders get ready to take the field in the coming days, and after a interesting offseason for sure. Coy is with us as well. Hi, Coy. Good to see you here. Bob Swanger's in the house. Bob hoping that his pessimism for his Nittany Lions is short-lived, and he can get a little bit more hope behind Matt Campbell as the days go on. Good to see you as well. Jose Gonzalez is joining us, and also a member. Thank you so very much for everyone. And whether you got gifted from Moen or somebody else, I still do appreciate that you checked out the channel, and I hope that you consider staying as a member as this channel continues to grow. And it's been growing pretty massively. I'm actually surprised what's gone on in the last few weeks, as UVA and NC State are getting ready to kick off. And what I think is is a sold-out Virginia, who hasn't sold out their stadium, I think, since like the 2008-2009 era. NC State's getting the ball first, a good return to the 35-yard line, and they will take over with C.J. Bailey and JoJo Trader and Chance Robertson, a couple of former Miami Hurricane wide receivers. I would look to see instantly what happens with JoJo Trader and C.J. Bailey, establishing that connection, giving him the stuff that he needs for that offense, and Dave Doran, if they put the pieces around C.J. Bailey to really take advantage of him. Bob Swanger also says maybe TCU should fire Sonny before he gets on the plane. Hey, maybe Sonny gets fired before Dave Aranda, who's my pick to be the first coach to get fired. First play from scrimmage is a handoff, no gain. Be second down for NC State. Mama Duck thinks that after this game, ACC will be 2-0, with a quick correction, of course, because this is actually a conference game. And yes, this is a conference game. Last year, for clarity, NC State and Virginia did a home-and-home schedule series because they were trying to keep their rivalry going in a year that they weren't being not playing as conference foes, so they scheduled an additional game. It did, I believe, this year I know for a fact this year's game was a conference game. I believe I'm correct in saying that it wasn't maybe originally, but it is one either way. This game was supposed to be in Brazil. I'm glad it's in Charlottesville. ACC Network was out there this morning. A short completion on second down for C.J. Bailey. It's now 3rd and 5 for the Wolfpack as the Cavaliers crowd gets up. James Kane, I would agree. I was glad to see football, but that was a rough game, man. That was a rough game. C.J. Bailey's back to pass. He's scrambling in the pocket now, looking for a place to run, but he's picked up, and he looks like he fumbled on his way down. We'll have to see whether his knee hit. But I think it might have been a turnover on the first series for NC State and highly touted C.J. Bailey. In full transparency, in case you watch the channel for a long time, I was not a C.J. Bailey guy that in terms of Miami wanting, people saying that, hey, Miami should try to go after C.J. Bailey in the transfer portal. But I think he's a really good quarterback. I just didn't want him versus other options. Looks like they are saying his knee was down, so it's 4th and 7 instead, and NC State is back to punt from their 37-yard line. Call for a fair catch, and it will be Virginia's ball at the 31. John Dry says it's sad that Virginia hasn't sold out since then. Even when Texas Tech sucked, the stadium was always sold out, even when Tuberville Kingsbury was the coach. Yeah, look, I think the ACC is going to be way better this year than people think. Um, I've done all my predictions, did my college football playoff stuff. That's all on the channel. Did my week 0, week 1 picks. Really happy actually how many people watch those, because usually if you're a channel that covers everything, or you cover realignment as well and court crap, your picks don't get picked up. But actually they've done great, and that's exactly the kind of channel I want, where you cover everything, including hardcore football stuff and deep dives into anything that affects the sport, because we're psychotic. Well, Pribula drops back to pass, actually runs right up the middle. So I think that was a design play, and he gets a first down on his first play of scrimmage as the new quarterback of the Virginia Cavaliers. Coming over from Missouri, an injury-plagued last season. Missouri didn't get to where people thought they were, but of course they're ranked in the top 25, because that's just the way it is. But good play there for Bo Pribula. Design draw looks like to me. Gain of 11 will be 1st and 10. And James Kane says CJ Bailey doing CJ Bailey things. I totally feel you, man. I'm right there with you. But I actually am excited to see what CJ Bailey's going to do this year. All right, it looks like both of our tickers are doing well. USC jumps up to a 14-0 lead now as they just get into the beginning of the second quarter. To me, looking at that USC game, you're really just trying to see any early signs of the Gary Patterson-led defense, speaking of TCU, and just how does Maeva look? How does that young wide receiver room look? I think they have an injury or two, so we might not see some players in the first half that we might have expected originally. All right, it's 2nd and 11 for the Cavaliers. Bo Pribula is back in the shotgun, doing a little audible there at the snap, man in motion, and a handoff right up the middle. Gain of 4 or 5 on that one. It'll be 3rd down. Again, if you're watching over on X, appreciate it, but I'd love to have you join us over in the chat as well. That would be fantastic. Excuse me while my water bottle leaks all over the place. And I turn to the left to deal with it before I have a flood on my keyboard. And it squeaks as well. All right, it's 4th and 6. So NC State defense holds. We get nothing really here on this first series. So as we get ready to probably go into the first commercial break of this game, would love for you guys to tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from UNC and TCU today? What surprised you, pleasantly or otherwise, in that first game that we saw to kick off the 2026 college football season? Virginia back to punt from their own 32-yard line. Fair catch called for at the 11 or the 12-yard line. So NC State will take over on the second series at their own 12. Let me see if I can get the multi going the way I want to have USC in the screen. I didn't do that earlier. I wasn't prepared. I was really unimpressed, of course, as you might expect. And by the way, if you're watching the Virginia NC State view, ACC Network has an alternate view. They have the All 22. I think they have the same announcers on, but if you wanted to see things differently, and the All 22 is always really interesting, you do have that ability to pull that game in via the ACC Network. James Kane says, I mean, in all honesty, season just started, so teams going to get better or worse. Yeah, but you can see someone whether they're sloppy or unprepared or not. UNC nor TCU could really move the ball. Quite a few bonehead play calls and execution of said plays. Yeah, I mean, anyone have an impression of Bobby Petrino and his play calling in his first game as UNC's new offensive coordinator? Yeah, I was quite surprised. I thought TCU would play better. I didn't think this game was going to be close. I didn't think it was going to hit the over just because of the weather conditions. But I definitely expected more from Sonny Dykes' team with the talent they were bringing back. You would never have, their quarterback who's transferred from Harvard actually was projected to be a possible fourth or fifth round pick if he had gone into the NFL draft this past season, despite only getting the visibility in the Ivy League there at Harvard. So the fact that he looked, there were some questionable decisions there was sort of surprising to me. And we've got the James thinks that Petrino is an overrated play caller. I don't know if I think he's overrated. I thought he did a pretty damn good job at Arkansas last year, the last couple of years. Ironically, of course, Antoine thought that Petrino called a decent game. Yeah, I thought it was decent. They don't have much talent. The thing I'm really curious about when it's all said and done is going to be watching Wake Forest play with Gio Lopez, who was UNC's quarterback last year. So then he got hurt. He wasn't really, what anybody expected. That season wasn't what anyone expected for UNC. But I'm curious to see what who I think is a better coach over at Wake Forest, what they're able to do with Gio Lopez at quarterback. One of the key things for Virginia, they're throwing up on the screen. I've neglected to mention it earlier. Cam Robinson is an excellent linebacker for Virginia. Is out today. He's not playing in this game. So that's kind of a bummer for their fan base. And Mama Duck, I think I'm right there with you. Petrino is a good coach. It's his personal life that holds him back. Very fair. Bailey back to pass on first down, completed out to the flat for a gain of 6. Number 8, I have to get all the numbers, the jersey numbers down here. I'm not there yet for the season. Second and 5 for NC State. Bailey keeps the ball on an option. Flags flying in. Loss of 1 on the play prior to seeing what the flag was for. I gotta tell you, AI is pretty good at some things, like creating a whole sheet to follow these games, except for the one I just did not update all of the jersey numbers. But that said, still pretty good. So the penalty was against NC State. Second and 13 off of that penalty. Man in motion. Bailey drops back to pass. He's at his goal line. Pass was short to his wide receiver. He had him open, but he short hopped him on that one. So it'll be 3rd and 13 for NC State. So their offense is not clicking here early in the game. They get back a bunch of it, get him outside of the end zone, but it will be 4th down for Virginia. Meanwhile, in the USC San Jose State game, San Jose State is driving. They're in the red zone. So for those of you looking for the over, you're probably wanting that score to keep things going up and up. Fair catch called for by the Virginia returner. It will be first and down for Virginia, 1st and 10 from the Virginia 39-yard line. Yeah, decent run, just not enough. That was a safety play. They get the first down. They're great. They were just trying to get the field position. Virginia takes over. Pribula is in shotgun, empty backfield, but he's going to elect to run it, and he is going off to the right-hand side. Gain of about 18 yards, and possibly looked like that hit was a little bit late to me. I guess it was just on the edge, but gain of 18 as Bo shows that he's back up to speed health-wise with a very solid option run there. Their two best plays from scrimmage have been runs for Bo Pribula. Man in motion, hand off the left-hand side. Hole was there for a quick second, closes up, 2-yard gain for Virginia. The other games today, I mean, it's a weird schedule, but there's some good, interesting games depending upon your point of view. Another handoff to the right-hand side for Virginia. He got past the first down line. We'll have to figure out what they did in terms of marking his forward progress. But it's either a first down or it'll be very short yardage depending upon where they mark him down. Back over at USC and San Jose State. San Jose State has the ball on the 7-yard line of USC and driving. Game crew doesn't have their act together in terms of putting the first down or second down marker on, but USC nails that handoff. Loss of 3 for USC, for San Jose State as they're trying to score on USC. Yeah, James is right. The NC State's defense on the run has looked terrible so far. It'll be 3rd down for Virginia after that last run. San Jose State really is blowing a good scoring opportunity. I think that might have been 3rd down. Oh, that was 4th down. I'm not sure who has the game. NBC has the San Jose State USC game, and unless I'm blind, I still have no idea what down it is as they don't have the down up. It's like amateur hour. Like, is there a new kind of graphic that you don't need to know what down it is? And that's true. Very experienced offensive line for Virginia. Probably one of the top offensive lines in the ACC heading into the season. Virginia's back for the field goal, 47-yard attempt. And it is good. Virginia goes up 3-0 on NC State. The last line on this game was 4 points. Virginia favored by 4. It started off, I believe, at 5.5. It was lower when it was in Brazil, and they gained a few points when they moved, and then it slowly moved down again. The other games I'm really interested in, I think Memphis and Hawaii is going to be an excellent game. Quarterback chaos, so to speak. Memphis only just announced who their starting quarterback was like 2 days ago. UNLV and Dan Mullen are planning on playing two quarterbacks, which means you have none. The cliche is usually true. That game should be interesting. I'm very curious about Hawaii and Stanford. Miami's playing Stanford next week, so scouting out that game. Hawaii just announced today that their leading wide receiver is not playing in that game, and also Stanford announced that one of their starting offensive linemen, I don't remember if it was the left tackle or right tackle, is also out. So there's already some definitely impacting injuries going on in that game. SC is favored by 38.5, I believe, in the San Jose State game. So they're not on track at this very moment to cover that spread. Historically, in the last 3 years for USC against G6 schools, they have beaten the G6 team that they played by, I believe, an average of either 46 or 48 points. So if they went to chalk with their normal track record, they would be able to cover that spread. But so far, they have not opened it up in any massive form yet. I'm not listening to the audio there, but I am curious what the reaction of fans might be at the Coliseum. It's a really gross, muggy day here in LA on the west side and up to downtown. And usually humidity and muggy, gross sweat weather is not a thing, but it's been a thing for the last couple of weeks. So, I think that could impact this game in terms of conditioning, even for USC used to playing in the heat, even San Jose State used to playing in the heat. San Jose State is, and San Jose area is generally sometimes even warmer this time of year than Southern California is. James Kane says it's going to be hard to gauge Stanford with the player out. Yeah, they're losing one lineman, but the best wide receiver from Hawaii is out, so that sort of balances each other out, I would say. Let's see if I can get new assets added here. All right, it's 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter with NC State as CJ Bailey has his guys huddled up, getting ready to hopefully do a little bit more. Got to get him in a little bit of rhythm. Right now, they are not. Interception. CJ Bailey is not looking good. He's looking actually the way he looked with all of his hoping things would look better for him against Miami when NC State came to Miami last year. Bailey is definitely doing Bailey things. This is the problem with CJ. This is what we saw last year in the Miami NC State game. What's up, Greg? Welcome to the stream, to the chat. Good to see you. So Virginia is in an excellent position to really open up a nice little lead here in the first half. Handoff on first down. Now actually Pribula keeps it again around the right side. Gain all the way down to the 8-yard line. That left-hand side of the NC State defense, and maybe the right-hand side too, but they're just getting destroyed by Virginia. Just utterly destroyed. Pribula's now got what? Probably approaching 50 yards or 28 yards. Another handoff. They're just running the ball right at him. Pribula's only attempted one pass so far in 3 series. Pribula back in the shotgun as well. 2nd and goal. Keeps it himself after the fake handoff, going around to the right side again. Out at the 1-yard line. Third and goal for Virginia. At the 1-yard line. Handoff up the middle. 2nd effort. Good. 10-0. 9-0 pending the extra point for Virginia. NC State is looking like ass. Not a good start for the Wolfpack. Very unimpressive start here. Both games are in timeouts. Greg's Disney Adventure says, Expedition Greg, to most of us. Usually week 0 games aren't really enticing to say the least. James Kane. Bailey's OC is not helping him out with the play calling. Call some screens, a few run plays, get him something going. USC scored, so I guess they're up 21-0. Thanks for joining us, Becky. Appreciate it. USC should dominate San Jose State. Yeah, now they're at least on track to cover with the 38.5-point spread. Becky Gohusky says Virginia didn't have a drop-off like some might have thought. Maybe. We shall see. But so far, they're looking pretty good. I'll grant you that. Yep. NC State cannot stop their run game in any form. NC State is not playing good. Holy shit. I'll say it for you. I'll fill in the blank. They look terrible. Virginia wearing all orange has a former Clemson assistant as head coach running it like Clemson used to. The NC State Wolfpack defense endured a rough 2025 season, finishing 14th in the ACC in total defense and 15th in points allowed while giving up 392 points. Well, looks like they're trying to reclaim their throne right now the way they're not stopping the run. And yeah, I think you're right. Seems like that trend is continuing. What's up, Skaven? Yes. Day's going good. We got football, even if so far it's bad football. But there, bad football is like fill in the blank. Still good. I'll let you decide what you want to make the comparison to. So both games are in commercials at the moment. We've got 10-0 with Virginia. USC up 21-0. 38.5 point favorites there. I'll wonder whether Maeva comes in maybe for the first series in the third quarter, just to get that rhythm, get that training down for future games, and then he takes off. Maybe they get up 35, something like that, 28, whatever it might be. That's really what you want to see. You want to see them get in the rhythm and get out if you're a USC fan, right? But you also want to see them blowing this team out. NC State was the only team that beat UVA and Miami last year, right? No, NC State did not beat Miami. NC State did beat UVA, and I think they were the only regular season loss. Miami only lost to Louisville and SMU during the regular season. NC State does not play Miami this year either, so they don't have to worry about it. They got their heads handed to them last year. Is bad football better than no football? Absolutely, unless it's preseason football, and then only preseason football is good if you're trying to watch your former college guys play to see how they wind up doing. I can't wait to, Antoine says, can't wait to watch all the TCU YouTube channels later this evening to get their thoughts. Look, there's nothing better than meltdown college football channels, right? All right, NC State has the ball again. Handoff on first down, gain of about 6. I'm also looking forward to seeing FSU tonight. I just want to see what that team looks like and whether they can blow out New Mexico State the way that they should, because if they can't, that's a bad sign. JoJo Trader gets a completion. I think that's his first as a Virginia Cavalier, hooking up with his former high school quarterback, CJ Bailey. Handoff on first down for NC State. Gain of just a couple. Yeah, a couple of plays finally there, James Kane. You're right on that one. Yeah, by the time that NC State and Miami played last year, Becky, they had solved those issues that was on their run into the playoffs where they had that come to Jesus-y kind of team meeting and went all the way and didn't lose again until they lost to Indiana. 2nd and 8 for NC State, trying to get something going on offense for the first time in this game. Bailey in the shotgun, takes the handoff. Great catch down the sideline, but I don't think he got it in bounds. Locklear, a really nice play, but I just don't think he had the space to plant the foot. Third and 8 for NC State. Can they continue a couple of first downs on one drive or no? Good interception attempt. CJ Bailey just is not in rhythm whatsoever right now. Over on the USC game, Jaden Maeva so far is 14 for 17, 138 yards, passing 1 touchdown. They have over 100 yards rushing, or almost 100 yards rushing. He took a sack, so that brought that rushing total down. NC State's going to punt again as we get ready to wind down the fourth quarter. 4th and 8 there. Fair catch called for. Virginia will take over their, fourth possession on the 23-yard line. Yeah, that was a pretty amazing, nice attempt there on the catch. Way outside. Yeah, the ball wasn't on target. UVA defense is definitely playing well. Catch the ball. Well, that was, I don't know, that wasn't a good pass to me either. Bailey had to back to Pout on the bench. Chubby Al said, Chubby Al says, I really believed in Bailey. He's letting me down, man. Yeah, it's early, but it is a disappointing start. I was really excited to see what he was going to do this year now that he got some comfortable people around him. Kane Life 3 sends some of the YouTube jewels. Thanks for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. A bunch of you might not know, you possibly have jewels that YouTube is giving you to donate to creators, and when you're watching them, I appreciate Kane Life doing so. Thank you. Very Guapos asked, what's happening to Bailey right now? They had him top 5. What's up? What do you mean they had him top 5, Very Guapo? Top 5 ACC quarterbacks, or do you mean like top 5 quarterbacks? I've seen him well regarded. I haven't necessarily seen him on any list that was top 5 overall in quarterback play. He's definitely not top 5 in quarterbacks in the Heisman odds kind of zone. James Kane says, "Hey, honestly, I wanted Bailey out here out of high school, but after seeing him in a few games, I'm glad he didn't end up in Miami. I wanted Miami to recruit him to get Jeremiah Smith, and I wish they would have recruited him, but I did not want Miami to get him in the offseason this year, and that NC State Miami game helped convince me even further. But that said, and as Very Guapo asked, he meant in the ACC, and yeah, Very Guapo, I've had him in my possible top 3 quarterbacks in the ACC, top 4. It's Mensa, it's Sagapulitele from Cal, it's Kevin Jennings down in SMU, and I'm missing somebody else besides CJ Bailey. There was somebody else I have in mind, but his name is escaping me at the moment. There's clearly other possibilities. The pick quarterback, we'll have to see how he is this year. Kleinholtz over at Louisville. I'm not expecting much out of the scene at Clemson, but could be wrong. I heard Mendoza is playing really well in camp for Georgia Tech. We'll have to see. But yeah, CJ Bailey was in that 3 or 4 with Mensa, Sagapulitele, and Jennings. And for whatever reason, it's not happening yet. Meanwhile, USC, nice completion of Maeva over the middle. They're at the 50-yard line with a minute 20. They are driving, so they have a possibility of adding a score before halftime there. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to add something to the screen here to give us a better way of monitoring the NC State game. Something just finally flipped correctly to do it. All right, it's 2nd down and 6 for Virginia at the beginning of the second quarter here. Third and 2 for Virginia from their own 32-yard line. USC, meanwhile, is first and goal with 38 seconds left to go. Another run right up the middle for Virginia. Gain of 5. It'll be first down. And USC goes up 27-0 with a run right up the middle. Another big play for Pribula. Looks like they got a first down there as well. All right, we got some box score stuff now from a different feed. And USC gets the extra point. So they will go into the half as we have 30 seconds up left. They will be up 28-0, barring some last second heroics. USC has not taken too many shots downfield today. Yeah, they've definitely run a conservative game so far. USC is definitely focusing on running the ball. You know, they have a younger wide receiver room, and I think they had an injury today as well. One of the receivers who was expected to play is out. I don't know if that's factoring in at all. USC is dominating as expected. They started off a little bit slow, just relatively. What game am I looking forward to the most next weekend? One, everyone in the chat, drop which game you're looking forward to the most next weekend. Mine's sort of split. I'm a Canes fan, so Miami versus Stanford. As Virginia breaks a touchdown, I didn't see the full play to see if it was a run or a pass, so I apologize for that as I was looking at the question here. Either way, a touchdown for Virginia. Nice solid play there. Let me check the replay just to catch it. Virginia is up 16-0 on NC State. They're favored by 4. So that was a pass play completed by Bo Pribula. Drops back to pass. He hasn't really passed much at all. Wide open down the middle. Virginia is just crushing NC State right now, 17-0. So for me, for the games for next weekend that I'm most excited about, I'm most excited to see Miami and Stanford because I just want to see my team play again. And I want to see what Mensa looks like. But I don't have expectations. I just want to see them go in, crush like they're supposed to, and get out without any injuries. See how that offensive line looks gelling early stages. But in terms of like other games, I'm very curious about the drama with Louisville and Ole Miss and then what will happen in that game. I'm excited as hell. Real drama, I mean, with LSU and Clemson, especially depending upon how the rest of this week goes with the whole NFL situation and what LSU does. And I'm honestly there for the possible train wreck scenario or redemption scenario to start if FSU beats SMU at home. Like, I don't think they're going to, but if they do, it'll be a little bit more interesting a couple weeks later when they play Alabama. So those are the games I'm probably the most interested in. I'm excited to see North Dakota State later today in their FBS opening game against Jacksonville State. I think you need to watch that game early to see the energy there. If you're a better playing that first quarter, and North Dakota State favored by a half point in that first quarter might be a really safe bet to do. The energy might be off the chart. But those are probably the games that I'm the most interested in, both from a fan perspective and just college football drama overall. What's my college football top 3 overall? I believe, and I don't want to change. I'm not changing my mind. I just can't remember what I had for 3. I had Oregon at number 1. I had Miami at number 2. Yes, I'm a homer. Call me a homer. I actually think they're completely underrated at number 7. But if you ever followed me for a long time, I call it as I see them. If I thought Miami sucked or was mid, I would tell you. And then I think I have Ohio State 3rd. I might have put Georgia there, but I don't think so. I think I had Oregon, Miami, Ohio State. I think I had Texas at 5. My top 7's the same as everyone, to be honest. I can't remember the exact order, but I do know for sure I had Oregon at 1, Miami at 2, and I either SEC at 3 or it was Ohio State. Everyone drop your top 3 as well? I'm curious who you guys think it is, even if it's within the chalk. Yeah, I'm right there with James, right? I just want to see Miami play football again. Last season was epic for a Miami fan, but I do a national channel for a reason. There's so many great Canes focus creators, but I've mixed it in a little bit more. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll probably see like 15 to 20% channel of the Canes now that I feel like I've established it as a national channel. But it does come from a Canes point of view. That's where I started. That's where I'll always be. But I try to call it the way I see it, and I love college football. Like, I'm literally watching games all day today. I will be back on tonight when the games wrap up, maybe while Stanford and Hawaii are still playing, for a sort of wrap-up show and do call-ins as well. If anyone wants to look for that later on tonight, not exactly sure of the time, definitely check social. And maybe we'll do some calls at halftime if anyone wants to do that. If you want to be a guinea pig, I want to see if I can get it working correctly. All right, let's get to some more here. Yeah, catching up. That touchdown for Virginia was very dominating. Absolutely. Chubby Al's most excited for Auburn versus Baylor. I wish that game was happening at Auburn instead of not being in the return game. And that's at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I'm curious to see what Alex Golesh is going to do and what what he's going to be able to do with his quarterback coming over. And like Aranda to me is one of the first coaches I think might get fired. UVA up 17-0. Antoine says the way NC State is playing, that might be enough. Right now, it definitely is enough. They're not looking good at all on offense, so it is 2nd and 4 for NC State. Bailey get deflected at the line. Just NC State looks like ass. They don't look like first game ass. They look like solid ass right now. Really disappointing look for the NC State here. 3rd and 4, still early, but man, not looking good for NC State. Yeah, Mama Duck, what do you think about this so far? I expected more. Looks like they might have converted there on the first down. If not, they're going to be just shy, but they're moving the chains. So NC State was the underdog, but I thought that I called them to win outright, Chubby Al. I thought that they were going to win this game straight out, and they still might. It's college football. Did you guys see the FCS game with Villanova last night? Number 7 Villanova. Posts were all over social media. They were up, I think, 10 with a minute and something left and won the game. Antoine is most excited about is Arizona's State Sun Devils and Morgan State, right? That's your opening game there. Becky Go Huskies is just waiting for week 2. Isn't week 2 as a Huskies fan? Is that the Apple Cup game? Is that your second game, but the Apple Cup game? Becky Go Huskies has Ohio State 1, Texas 2, Indiana 3, Miami 4, Oregon 5. Bad pass, bad route, all crap there on 2nd down for NC State. It'll be 3rd and 7. What you meant 135 for Oregon. James Kane says that Auburn is his second team, so he kind of wants to see them as well. Another incomplete pass there for intended for Jackson. Can't tell if he shorted the pass. The route was running correctly. Either way, NC State offense looks like total ass right now. Becky Go Husky says the Apple Cup is week 1, but it's going to be bad. In the chat, what do you think of Washington State's ban? So this is a rivalry game, hasn't been played in the last year or so. Becky can update everyone. Washington State's ban has the position in Husky Stadium for all bans has been moved. So Washington State band basically decided to not go to the game in a rivalry game because it's going to be too hard to get down to the field. They're not treating them any different than they treat any other teams. I know for a fact that Florida State's band, when they come down to Miami, is upstairs. It doesn't stop them from doing it. You leave a little bit earlier, you get to your seats a little bit later after the open, before kickoff, during halftime. Kind of weak sauce, I would think. James King says Bailey overthrew his wide receiver. Mama Duck says, is Virginia that bad or is Virginia that good or NC State that bad? I do not know the answer to that question. I think we need some more time here. With these opening games are just hard. Like you're trying to figure out what you could take away from them. Last year we were talking about Clemson and LSU in a tight game, and that maybe they were both that good because they were both ranked that high, and they both turned out to kind of suck. No network talking for NC State game? I'm not sure what you mean, old dad. How are you doing today? Mama Duck says 3 times the charm. James Kane says NC State looking like they're asleep right now. Yeah, they look like they're dead right now. more so than anything else. College is definitely very unpredictable. I agree, very guapo. It's so unpredictable, you would think I would know better than to put any of these games in a bet or a parlay today, but I want to have a little bit of interest going. Over in FCS, Idaho last night was down 21-10 to Cal Poly at halftime, and Cal Poly won in the final play as Idaho came back. Yeah, it's not like the NFL. That's why I love it, except for when you're betting on it or doing just picks with friends, whatever way you go about it. Some of them are. Some of them a little bit older adults at this point. Oh, I'm okay. No commentary on game from ESPN on YouTube TV. Oh yeah, I have it. I have the audio on. I can hear him on my YouTube TV, but not enough to come into here. Hopefully you can't hear it, so I don't get a copyright strike, even though I do have it on in the background. The only difference between NFL and college, the worst NFL team can and does beat the best NFL team. That is true. I'm here with you. I'm just going to turn the camera off for a quick second. Don't be alarmed. Everything's fine. All right, I'm back. I just didn't want to see anybody have to watch me take a bite of a waffle and chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A as Bo Pribula gets another big run, this time to the left side. So apparently both sides of the ball suck on defense for NC State. By the way, I know you didn't come here for food reviews, but Chick-fil-A has a new waffle and chicken and bacon sandwich, limited time only. It's very good. Spicy is the better way to go. A little heat, little maple syrup on there. You can throw some buffalo sauce on it too. It's like $4 more here where I'm from. So you got to splurge a little bit in the fast food lane, but it's a good one. I mean, there's no bad chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. Now I get it. Old Dad's watching the All 22, which is a good feed, but I don't understand why they have the All 22 and not any commentary. Usually when they do those multicasts, they do have something else for you to look at and hear the voiceover. So now I understand. And thanks for being a member, Old Dad. Appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button so that the algorithm knows that people are actually alive and well here. If you're over on X, please consider jumping over to CFB Express on YouTube so I can see your comments and participate in there. And hey guys, like, share the stream out if you would. We'd love to get some more people into the chat, even if they disagree with things I might say. Anything you can do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. Very Guapo says it's true, Becky. The worst college team can't beat the best. That's true. But underdogs occasionally pull it off, just not as often. James Kane had the Burger King Texas Bacon Burger last night. It was delicious. Burger King is low-key horrible and low-key good at different times. Just depends upon what you're getting. I'm still down for their onion rings. NC State defense decided to show up for the game, and on 3rd and 7, they have a sack, a loss of probably 10 yards there on that one. So Virginia will have to punt. All right, so it's 4th and 16 here for the Cavaliers. 6:06 left to go. It would be good for the NC State offense to now decide to show up a bit. Ball's returned from the 21-yard line. Big lane up the middle. Gets it almost back to midfield. So nice, solid return. 25, 26 yards. Giving CJ Bailey an opportunity to do something because he's done nothing really. Bob Swanger says, I love Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, but not on the waffles. Burger King onion rings and their Western cheeseburger are so good. Yeah, NC State special teams are the only ones who seem to have showed up so far for the Wolfpack. You know, NC State, if you want to get a P2 invite, even if you're a backpack for your friends down in Chapel Hill, you better play better than this. Old Dad, what is your prediction for tonight against New Mexico State? I'm not expecting them to lose, to be clear, but do you think Florida State's going to cover or not? Earlier, I was of the mindset like a week ago that Florida State would not cover, but they win like by 28. Drive Florida State fans crazy. But I somehow think that maybe it will be the opposite direction and they will cover. But David Pollock today on X posted earlier something that he's hearing that Ashton Daniels might not play as much or might not start. What are you hearing? I haven't been able to follow up to see if people responded to it, but I am curious about that. Did you guys see the Protect College Sports Act commercial earlier today? I don't know if it's aired during this game, but I did see it during the UNC TCU game. I thought it was a terrible ad. Whether you support the act in its full form, whether you hate it in all forms, or you wish it was slightly altered and want it passed but don't want certain aspects, I thought it was a bad look. I don't think it was a good ad. It didn't resonate with me. I'm pretty anti Cody Campbell, so take that with a grain of salt in full transparency. But I didn't think it was a very effective ad. Yeah, they're showing the replay right now, and felt like the announcers, I think, were saying they thought he could have broken that for more than he did. Looks like either a hold or pass interference there on 1st down. So NC State will get the ball moving a little bit with the help of the yellow flag guys. Yeah, he wasn't looking, didn't realize. Good call. 1st and 10. Handoff heading off to the left-hand side. Too much stuttering there. Doesn't get any momentum. Another flag on the play. Typical sloppy first games. Yes, Mama Duck. Cody Campbell has a full blitz of ads during college football. His organization specifically is doing ads to try to rally support to have people call Congress to get the Protect College Sports Act passed. I would be surprised if you don't see one in pretty much every single game. James says they're a bunch of baboons, so they need all the help they can get. I don't need billionaires buying votes, though. Are we not tired of that yet? There are parts of the Protect College Sports Act that I think are excellent. And there are parts that I think should be literally bombed. Freedom of association, man. Don't tell people how many members they can have unless they're in a monopoly. And 18, 19, 24 teams of 138, even if they're big brands, is not a monopoly. Leave them alone. Bailey back to pass again. Completed to the right-hand side for another first down. Bailey back to pass again. Pocket's collapsing. He takes off. Gain of about 4 on that scramble drill. Bailey keeps it. First down and another fumble. We'll have to see whether he's ruled down or not. Virginia on the recovery. Initial indication from the ref is a turnover. Man, I'm so glad I'm doing this right now, but it'd be very entertaining to be on several message boards right now. Of course, NC State and Virginia's. The Miami board is probably lit right now with all the people who wanted CJ Bailey before they knew Mensa was going to become available. Really, really bad look. NC State on their way in, turnover on the second turnover for CJ Bailey in the first half with 3:35 to go. Man, oh man. Handoff, gain of 9 on first down. You got to wonder if NC State's going to be able to recover from that. Can't tell if everyone's rallying around CJ Bailey or they're just getting ready for some messaging in case they get the ball back. 2nd and 1 for Virginia. USC San Jose State game is back. San Jose State gets the ball to kick off the second half. Virginia is on the verge of making a statement in this game. Granted, it's the first half, and we're not going to start doing that. But, man, this is not the game I expected to see. Offensively, 195 yards to 78. 2nd and 4 at the 2-minute timeout, 2-minute, whatever they call it in college football, since we can't have it called the same thing. Get back to some of your comments as we hit the commercial break here. So yes, Becky Go Huskies says she'll be shocked if we don't see multiple versions of that ad. They probably need to do multiple versions of that ad because that ad was terrible. Mama Duck, I'm so confused. I hope everyone has read everything in the PCSA. Yes, you probably should. James is like, hey, I've been tired of Congress and all of this for years, but nothing you could do about it. Becky Go Husky says, I'm also surprised we haven't seen an opposing ad yet. I'm not surprised. Who's going to organize that? An individual school who also wants part of it to be. I mean, most of the colleges want it to be approved. They just don't want it to be approved in its current form. And I don't think the agents are going to rally with their own money on it, or the players, because they're not organized. Bailey cannot make a decent throw to save his life. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm getting a call. All right, continuing with the comments here and commercial. Mama Duck thinks that Cody Campbell is getting something out of this. Yeah, he's trying to keep things relevant for Texas Tech, who may not have a chance to go somewhere else, something we are missing. James Kane thought that Bailey was down himself, but then saw that it was punched loose. Expedition Greg agrees that the ad was terrible. Not sure why the box score disappeared. Maybe because NC State has no stats. We'll just hide that until it comes back in a better form. James Kane says he has yet to see this ad, but kind of want to see it so it can laugh my head off. It's just like fake, aggressive. It's like, it sounds like a horrible political hack ad to me. I don't know. That was my take on it. Maybe some of you guys saw it and thought it was good. Becky Go Husky says, can we talk about the true freshman for defensive end for USC? Kid is 6'6", 265, built like Nick Bosa. I have not been able to key in on that. Old Dad says the ad is bad. Cody Campbell is terrible. Something that I think there's multiple things we can all agree on. Now, you shouldn't gamble on your own team. We don't like pros in college football, but a lot of us also think the NCAA screwed the class of 2022. Notre Dame sucks. Cody Campbell is not a good man. Allegedly. Reportedly. My opinion. I think there is something else I missed too, but those are the things I think most college football fans can agree on, with a couple of exceptions. There's probably a Texas Tech exception for the Cody Campbell world. Notre Dame fans, of course, love Notre Dame. November 7th. Have you guys looked at the November 7th schedule yet? The games that day are insane. Sean says, can't wait for the Buckeyes to get to 1A. I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying there. Well, that is not at Doak. A lot of people might not be at Doak. I wonder what the attendance will be like there tonight, old dad. I know that the season ticket base has gone down over the last couple of years. They reported yesterday like 27,000, down from like 34,000 not too long ago. Bob Swanger asked, why would you not take a shot downfield? I don't know. I don't know what NC State is doing today. James Kane says NC State defense is getting settled in. Their offense is still at the hotel, though. Becky Go Huskies has joined. I appreciate that, Becky. Always a friend, supporter. We agree on a lot. Great, smart takes. You guys should follow Becky on X as well, as she contributes also to the College Football Mafia, my other football family, so to speak. Old Dad says Notre Dame is, in his book, excess baggage on their best day. Look, I try to keep it fairly clean. I mean, not clean, but I don't try to hate on any particular fan base. FSU fans will sit there and probably say I'm fairly fair, even when I'm doing the typical trolling. But I just can't stand Notre Dame. I literally despise everything about it. I don't really care. I don't care what anybody knows. Same thing almost, but not even quite for Florida. FSU I at least respect historically in the Bowden era, even if it's still fun to watch your rival suffer. Bailey scrambles there on 2nd and 10, gets out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down with 49 seconds left to go and half time. Bailey scrambles again on 3rd and 6. There's now 4th down. They can't get anything going. They literally cannot get a thing going. Really, I mean, if you're a Wolfpack fan, how disappointed do you have to be? NC State should cancel the program at this point. Old Dad says attendance at Doak will be fine tonight. Most FSU fans are above my pay grade. I don't think it's about pay grade level. I think it's about, do you want to go? Notre Dame ducked BYU because Miami got in the college football playoff and ducked USC because they didn't want to play them in August or September. I mean, they sort of ducked them. I mean, they are playing them this year, right? Cranky Tiger says he just left Numbskull. So Numbskull news, for those of you might not know, a TCU fan. Pretty sure he's getting drunk tonight. Cranky Tiger, did he go live? Because I saw him in an earlier live stream, and he seemed like he might not want to talk about it. But if he did talk about it, that's epic, and you have to probably go watch it. What's up, Tony? How are you? He says that UVA's defense looks very good. Yes, we're trying to decipher that. Is their defense very good, or is NC State just ass today or period? James Kane thinks NC State is just that bad. Doke at night can be fun, old dad says. Yes, it can be. Just hasn't been recently, right? Cranky Tiger fills us in. Numbskull News. So add a K, Numskull. Numbskull News did go live. So once I get off here, I will absolutely be watching that right away. God, that's must-watch TV. Dave Doran being interviewed. I'm sure he's saying something useless because their team was useless so far in that first half. Expedition Greg says Notre Dame had a hand in the 19-5 provision limiting conference expansion to 19 teams because it wants to hold the ACC hostage. Well, ACC kind of holds itself hostage. Becky Gohusky says football is the only sport that wrecks your entire week with a loss. Well, that's the problem with a sport that you maybe only get 12 to 16 max, or 17. Is that possible? I'm not even sure. Games per year, and we talk about 359 other days, or 349 other days. Numbskull's taking cheese donations to go with his wine, I'm sure. All right, San Jose State is on the edge of the red zone, or just about. 2nd and 10 from the 21 with 9:31 to go. 28-0 USC in that one. Nice run up the middle for 8. It'll be 3rd and 2 for San Jose State, threatening to put some points on the board here. Everyone is looking for the overs, is probably happy. Everyone is looking for USC to be up 38.5 is unhappy, and those who have both are undecided. Tony asks, are all the starters out for USC? I haven't been monitoring closely. Becky, is Maeva still been in the third quarter here? If you've been paying more attention. Cranky Tiger says that Dave Doran is a dimwit. First down conversion there. Or actually, was that second down? So that they made the conversion on second down, short game, maybe a half a yard. It was 2nd and goal for San Jose State. James Kane says, I agree, college football can put you in the dumps. Yeah, it did so for me for like about 20 years. That's 60% of the time. And about 40% of the time. San Jose State hit a deep throw on this drive. A 42-yard pass completion puts San Jose State in this position. Thank you for filling in the details, Becky. But do you remember if was Maeva in on the last offensive series here in the third quarter for USC? As we get ready to head into halftime here, at least in the Virginia NC State game, which has been a blowout so far, and San Jose State 4th down now. They'll probably go for the field goal so they get the shutout off the board in a fairly empty USC, at least in the end zone. And Maeva was in. Thank you, Becky, for letting us know that Maeva has still been in the game. And please definitely hit that like button and let everybody know. We still got a half to go here, regardless of how NC State does or doesn't come back. And if you're on X, please come over to YouTube, CFB Express, and jump into the chat. We definitely appreciate it. Anyone who's been following for a while, feel free to share this out to your social media. Every little bit of that helps. Moen After Dark, my partner in crime. We will be on CFB Mafia tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, talking about all of these games. says his parlays were busted in the first 2 games. CFB Saturdays are back. I'm right there. The only difference I did is that I did like one of those really cheap, like 8-team. What do they call them? The names escaped me. Round robin at like 10 cents. So they had all these different combinations together to keep me invested. So all of the ones that involve 6 parts of that, they're all shot. I mean, that involve 8 of them, but I have all the ones that still have 6 or less at play, and it didn't really risk that much. That was my way of dealing with week 0 uncertainty. And Moen contributes 10 joules to the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tony says, college football wise, I have been in the dumps since 1967, 12 years before I was born. I mean, some of you have those teams that you wish you were there for. If it makes you feel any better, I have the Jets as my pro team. So that helps to contribute to that. Frank Potter says the Pribula run should have been stopped by standard hat-on-hat defense. Yeah, NC State does not look good, and their defense looked a little bit better towards the latter part of the first half, but not good at all overall in this game. Becky, go Huskies with the SC support. Like, are you allowed to do that as a Huskies fan, putting an SC logo in the chat? Yes, there are some emojis in the chat for those of you who have been members, and I knew which teams you supported. So some of them have been there. The more members we get, the more of those we can get into the chat. So if your team and you're a member is not in there, send me a message in the chat, post it on the community board, hit me up on X at Rock and Rant, and I can get more of these in as you see with Expedition Greg and his Ohio State, and then Moen After Dark comes in with 5 gift memberships going out to Cranky Tiger, Rocky Rock, Bill G, Keith Barnes, and Reality Witness. Please thank Mr. Moen for adding the membership to your experience here on the College Football Express. You get to go to the bar car now at the end of the train, and let me know the teams that you root for if I don't already know. Some of you guys I do know, and as I get more access with more members to more emojis, we'll add some more icons, some more emojis for the various teams that all of our members are supporting. Thank you very much for doing that, Moen. Greatly appreciate it. Expedition Greg says, future big rivalry. What rivalry are you speaking to? Expedition Greg, are you calling Virginia NC State, or am I missing something? Becky says that Washington and USC are not rivals, but we do make fun of each other. Moen there with the Ohio State side. Yep. Becky Go Huskies. I like to point out USC's band knows 2 songs, but they only play 1 during the game. The Gophers, yeah, poor Tony. But I think your Gophers are going to be pretty good this year. I think 8-4. I believe 8-4 is your floor if you do things right. If you row the boat correctly. Could be wrong. Becky Go Husky says, you won't see me doing the peace sign during football season or ever if you know you know. Expedition Greg means the Florida State and Miami big rivalry, and I would love that one to happen. I know some of the chalk isn't in that direction for some. I would love it if it happened in that way. But I still think that Miami and Florida State will play regardless, because that's just the way the 2 programs are oriented. If you missed it earlier this week on the business side, as we sit here during halftime, Miami and Florida State did a a deal with Progressive Insurance to sponsor the annual rivalry game, as well as put Progressive Insurance's logo on both teams' home field for all of their home games for the next several years. The money wasn't disclosed, but I think it's a really smart deal overall. Tony says he'd like Miami and FSU as number 19 and 20. I think that would be a great combination as well, which is why I don't want the PCSA to pass in its current form to prevent the 19 cap from happening. Becky Go Husky says, say FSU ends up in the big, but Miami goes to the SEC. Would FSU play both Miami and Florida each year? I think that would be probably very difficult for them to do because then both would be out of conference. They would have to play Florida. So that would be the problem. Whether they would play Miami every year, I don't know. That would be hard if they're in the big with 9 conference games and they have to play Florida. They'd have to be setting themselves up for playing 2 difficult Power 4 annual rivalries to do that. That said, I'd be utterly stunned if that scenario played out, where Miami was in the SEC and Florida State was in the Big Ten, which means it will probably happen. Because that would be the most college football thing you can imagine. Virginia, I'm still kind of floored with what we haven't seen from NC State. What was the most surprising part of the first half for you guys who've been paying attention to the Virginia NC State game? Has it been NC State's inability, Virginia's ability? What has really caught your attention when it's all said and done? Got those in the chat. Would appreciate the feedback on that as we linger here at halftime. Tony wonders whether or not Wisconsin will lose to the Irish by 50, but he's hoping so. Becky Go Husky says, Tony, question is, Wisconsin already down to Notre Dame or not? So everybody's already in their full trolling mode. So football has started. The college 2026 season has started. All right, guys, I'm going to step away from the computer for just 1 second, not shutting anything down. I'll be right back. Hope you stick around as well. All right, and we're back. Getting ready for the second half of the Virginia NC State game. We'll have to change the poll because a lot of us were probably wrong on what we thought of that game. See that Virginia and NC State. Virginia has obviously dominated all the offensive stats so far in this game. Catch everybody's comments before the game comes back into play for us. Moen continues on our realignment conversations. The good news is FSU won't be in the Big Ten, so Becky's scenario from earlier won't play out. As the first play from scrimmage after the kickoff for Virginia is a completion from Bo Pribula for a first down the left-hand side to his wide receiver. Becky Go Husky says Virginia's defensive intensity was surprising. They're playing physical football, and NC State is not responding. James Kane got a pineapple fruit pop because that's really all you got to say about this game right now so far. All right, so 1st and 10 again for Bo Pribula and the Virginia Cavaliers, right hot out of the second half kickoff. He drops back to pass again, rolls to his right, completed for a gain of 8. That was completed to Cam Courtney, number 5. 2nd down for the Virginia Cavaliers here. Pribula fakes the handoff, goes back, throws it down deep, wide open, Virginia. Touchdown, Cavaliers. Completed to number 18, Deshaun Martin, who's a transfer from Kent State, joining Virginia Cavaliers this season. Pribula had all day, wide open down the middle. NC State looks absolutely terrible. Sorry, Wolfpack fans. You tricked me. There was no first half halftime adjustments here that we've seen so far, and the defense just got obliterated in the first drive. Virginia marches down the field, puts points on in less than a minute and 25 seconds into the second half. It is now 24-0. NC State is getting destroyed. Three plays. This one is done. I mean, honestly, San Jose State has put up a little bit more of a fight. So we're definitely going to end this poll. I mean, look, I guess on the one hand, you could sit there and say this is poised for an epic comeback. 43% of you thought that UVA would cover this game. And right now, you're right, though I did keep this up the whole first half, so it could be biased. A lot thought that NC State was going to win outright, like me, 38%. But most people thought that NC State would at least cover, almost 57%. That's not the case. So let's do a new vote, a new poll for a new game. As we start off the second half, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Would greatly appreciate that. If you're over on X, come on over to CFB Express and jump in the chat. So let's say, will NC State not even come back, but make it close, make it respectable? That's the new poll. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Will they even get it respectable so it's not embarrassing, even though that might already be gone unless they come back for a massive comeback here? I'm going to flash up this comment for an hour and 15 minutes ago. NC State is not playing good. Holy. Chubby Al had it nailed then, and it has not changed since. Becky Gohusky says almost the fourth quarter over in the USC game. Not sure Maeva stays in. They're up 32 points. So they're almost covering. They're not really, they're still 20 something points away from covering the over under. James Kane says this game is done. It probably is. 3 plays. That was pretty impressive. Antoine Johnson says there will not be an epic comeback for NC State today. If they do come back, it will be epic though. James Kane says, I thought UVA would cover. So did I. And then just like that, San Jose State rolled out pass to the right side, quarterback with the touchdown completed. Touchdown San Jose State. It's 35-11. So the over-under people are getting really happy. The cover the spread crowd is getting a little bit nervous. 24 points, especially if they take Maeva out and if San Jose State doesn't respond with their backups. I can't even believe that line is right. Is Pribula only thrown 3 times? That just seems like it's not up to date. That seems off. Let me check that. Yeah, this is wrong. It's not. This is not updating. Pribula's 5 for 6, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns so far. Extremely efficient. He's got 9 carries for 80 yards, so over 210 yards of total offense so far for Pribula in his debut for the Cavaliers. CJ Bailey is 6 of 16 for 35 yards, 1 interception. Receiving wise, Josiah Trader is the biggest. JoJo Trader, former Miami Hurricane, 2 receptions for 19 yards. Nobody else has 2 receptions. Nobody else has more than 5 yards receiving. And Jaden Maeva is now out for USC. Jonas Williams is he's a freshman. I don't remember if he's a true freshman or not. Is in for USC with 14:30 to go in the fourth quarter. His first play is a completion out to the left side, bounces off of one defender and is good for a first down. James Kane says Pribula might as well be running triple option with those stats if correct. Yeah, those are wrong. I gave you the right ones just now. Maeva is out, and Jonas Williams is the former Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year. So once again, those not only is the box score wrong, but now it's not even showing. So let's get back here. Let's bring in a second the box score. So let's take a look at some of the box score stats here. So there you go. CJ Bailey, 6 of 16, 35 yards. Pribula, 5 of 6, 127, 2 touchdowns. Rushing yards, 174 for Virginia, 50 for NC State, 85 yards of total offense. Total disgraceful performance from Dave Doran's crew today. Williams is a true freshman in for USC. Completed pass again, another first down, and maybe 9 yards after the catch. That's Lincoln Riley team for you. So SC's got to score 14 and a half more points here in the next 11 minutes to cover the spread. But they need more points than that overall. Actually, no, that should also get them the over under. James Kane says Doran going to be feeling that seat get real warm if season goes like this game. Yeah, this is borderline disastrous for NC State. Second and goal for USC with their freshman quarterback having a very solid first drive here in fourth quarter cleanup time. Memphis and UNLV is a 7 o'clock West Coast time start. Hawaii and Stanford's coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern, as is New Mexico State at Florida State. And over in on CBSSN, North Dakota State is making their debut against Jacksonville State right now. See if we can get that one on the multi-view as well as the games overlap. Jacksonville State, I think, is a 7-point underdog to North Dakota State in that game. We'll throw that one up and start talking about that one as well. That game literally just kicked off. North Dakota State getting the ball first, I believe. Bad head injury in the Alabama State Southern game. That's unfortunate. USC tight end 6'6" and 315. James Kane says Chiefs cut Wesley Bissainth. Seems like he might be coming back to Miami. I do not know that he will or won't. James, I've heard very different things. My guess is that he doesn't come back to Miami. If I were to guess, that's not going to happen. But I don't truly know. I could say I don't know that I want him to come back, and that's not a shot at Mr. Bissainth at all. I just I don't know that we need it. CJ Daniels keeps the ball, gets a first down. Let's get the NDSU one up on here as well. Give me 1 second. Everyone appreciate the patience. All right. We'll add NDSU to the party here. And North Dakota State is on the verge of scoring on their first drive in the FBS as part of the Mountain West. 2nd and goal on the 6-yard line. Wide open. North Dakota State, y'all. 6-0. 4 minutes and 51 seconds into their FBS debut at home in the Dome. Gotta love it. You here earlier, I said you might want to pick NDSU -0.5 in the first quarter. We'll see whether that holds up or not. But great start for the Bison. I learned to say it's not the Bison. It's got to be the Bison or something like that. It's hard to get grammatical corrections for how to emphasize something in text from North Dakota State fans. And they get the extra point, 7-0. Great start for them. All right. Get back to the comments as well. James Kane says if ACC goes along with players not returning, I definitely agree. They've already put that out there, but everyone's getting put on restraining orders, including the SEC getting added to something else. So Becky Go Husky says, I feel bad for the players on the college teams who have been practicing with the starters, and the NFL guys come back and they're immediately benched. I do feel bad, but I think the NCAA screwed this whole thing up to begin with. So USC 42-11 in that game with 8:27 to go. So they're at 53 total. The over-under on that one, depending upon when you got it, is around 60 plus or minus something. And right now, USC is also not covering the 38.5 point spread. So if you're an SC fan or a bettor, you're looking for them to hold San Jose State here and come right back down. Put another 7 on there, give them a 49. They'll still actually be a half point off, if I'm not mistaken. 49-11, they'll be 38, so you'll have a bad beat by 0.5. Back into the disaster, if you're an NC State fan of a game. NC State's driving. CJ Bailey sacked as they're close, in the red zone. They're definitely not in, they need more than a damn field goal, but they also need 24. So it's 3rd and 21 as they move backwards on the sack. Bailey's pressured again, but he does complete it, gets at least a first down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1 yard line for NC State. So take a bad sack, lose yards, and it comes right back. Completion, gets the first down. South Dakota State fans are looking pretty happy, up 7-0 in that one. And NC State finally decides to get on the scoreboard there with the touchdown. 24-6, pending the extra point. 24-11 if you're a bettor, with the extra point coming in here. Getting the 4 or 5.5, depending upon when you got this game. After this game's over, we'll be taking a break, but we'll do our last call show later on tonight, probably around 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. There'll still be the Memphis UNLV game going on potentially, maybe a little bit later. Stand by for that. Not guaranteed, but possible. I'll update the community tab here, the post, and on X as well. NC State goes for 2, gets it to 8, so 16, 2-score game now. Yep. Finally getting on the board. Good to see you, Ter Will. James Kane says they are off life support and at least breathing. Look, it's college football. Anything's possible. They have the offensive talent, maybe not in the line, I don't know, to make a comeback, but Virginia's been playing really well, and their defense has been excellent. So it would take a definite collapse from the Cavaliers here that I don't know is in them. Meanwhile, the one game that's live right now, Jacksonville State's 2nd and 11 in their first possession. Now 3rd and 11. North Dakota State up 7-0. 9 minutes left to go in the first quarter, in the first game in their historic FBS entry into the Mountain West. I personally have North Dakota State as my wild card, long shot, crazy, whatever you want to do, pick to not only make it to the Mountain West Championship game, not only win it, but actually take the college football playoff G6 spot. Could be wildly wrong, but if I'm wildly right, I'm going to be so happy. Becky says that Jacksonville State had a great run wiped out due to a penalty. NC State game is still in TV timeout, as is USC and San Jose State. And Jacksonville State will punt on 4th and 4. So North Dakota State will get the ball and probably some pretty decent field position in the Fargo Dome. And a delay of game penalty coming up against Jacksonville State will push them further back. So it'll be 4th and 9, punt upcoming for the Jacksonville State crew, not starting off their debut game of the 2026 season in grand fashion. San Jose State is driving. They have the ball on the 30-yard line of actually now call it the 11-yard line with another completion. So San Jose State driving for another score with 6:02 to go here. Will be 1st and 10 on the SC 11. San Jose State might have a pretty good season in them outside of playing, undermanned here at SC, but they've had some moments. Question is, can NC State's defense step up here? Flags all over the place. So it looks like a face mask or a horse collar. I couldn't quite see it in the San Jose State game. They're going to have 1st and goal with under 6 left to play. Kickoff coming from Virginia. Squib kick goes into the end zone. It'll be 1st down on the 35-yard line for, 1st down on the 35-yard line for Virginia. NC State squib kick through the end zone. That might have been one of the most epic face masks I've ever seen, actually. Guess if you're going to do it hard. Pribula runs the ball, and like always, he gets about 9 yards as he runs off to the right-hand side. Not sure if it was a designed run or not. Meanwhile, San Jose State with the touchdown, bringing it up to 17. Quarterback, nice fake to the running back, throws into the corner of the end zone on a rollout. Great completion, great touchdown for San Jose State. If you're a Spartans fan, it's going to be a tough one, right? You're losing the Trojans, pretty handily, but might be interesting to see what happens for them the rest of the season. I'm actually fairly impressed with the parts that I've been able to pay attention to, multitasking here. Virginia with the run, another 1st down, flag on the play. We'll have to see whether that comes back or not. NC State's, don't know what it is. Let me know in the chat. NC State's run defense terrible. Virginia's run offense awesome. Or is it somewhere in between? I'm not real sure. I'm leaning towards NC State run offense terrible, but Virginia does have one of the better offensive lines in the ACC, a veteran offensive line, an older offensive line, a lot of experience and more mature in general. Oh, wow. The penalty on that play is going against Virginia on Coleman. Blindside hit there. Becky thinks it's in between. combination of both Virginia and NC State. The UVA penalty, yes. North Dakota State game is on CBS Sportsnet. So if you want to see the Bison in their debut in FBS, if you have CBS Sportsnet, you can find it there. In our latest poll, 92% of you do not believe that NC State will make it close. North Dakota State is stopped on their second drive, and it'll be 4th and 5 for them. 3rd and 4 for Virginia. People who keeps the ball. He's right there. I think he's a half yard shy on that play. Knee was down in advance of the ball crossing over. Becky Go Husky says Brian Kelly isn't a bad analyst so far. Yeah, I'm not really able to hear it doing this, so I can't really tell if the Fargo Dome is rocking, but I'm assuming it is. Virginia's going for it on 4th and 1, or at least acting like they are. I'm not sure if they got it. The surge is right on the line. It's just going to be whatever guess they do and marking it. It's a big stop here if NC State's getting it, but I think it's going to be hard to really determine. It looks like he got it to me, but barely. I mean, it's right on the line. Yes, 1st and 10 for Virginia as they were able to convert. San Jose State and USC is 42-18, so there are a lot of people on the or a half point on the bad beat side of the over under, which I believe was at 60.5 the last time I personally saw it, depending upon what your betting resource is. James Kane was able to hear they called it 1st down on the play, so they needed hard evidence to overturn it. Now 3rd down for Virginia. NC State desperately needs a stop. It's 3rd and 1 though for Virginia as they continue to drive the ball downfield, and the running game for Virginia has just been excellent, regardless of whether it's all them, part them, NC State's defense being terrible. They stopped the running back on the 3rd down handoff, short of the 1st down, kind of the same distance that they had for the last 4th and 1 attempt. It's the end of the 3rd quarter, though, so we'll have to wait a second to see what Virginia decides to do. Tony says the hockey team in Grand Forks is the 2nd most hated in the country. Fourth and 5 for Jacksonville State in that game, as the other games are in timeout right now. SC has the ball. 1st and 10 on their own 36-yard line. Back to pass. Sacked. freshman QB goes down. It's not looking like SC is going to cover here. The over-under is right on the half-point line, depending upon what you picked it up at, if you bet that at all, or picked it in just a pick'em game. Yeah, Pribula looks good. You know, the dual threat is definitely there. It's been more run heavy, but he's had some really nice completions along the way. NDSU gets their first taunting penalty of the new year. Welcome to FBS. 2nd and 16 for SC. I would say the SC game, and Becky, I'm curious your take because I know we've been watching it, was neither impressive nor unimpressive. It was just an opening game against an inferior opponent. I don't know there's anything to take away from it whatsoever. Jack State breaks some tackles there on 2nd and 4. Nice run, 20 yards up. Yeah, former Miami linebacker transfer to NC State. Popo is having an excellent game. He's making a lot of tackles, at least. They just literally can't stop the run. Becky says SC has not been impressive. More impressed with San Jose State's quarterback. Am I mistaken? Wasn't San Jose State's quarterback a late transfer to Duke to replace Mensa? So this guy is stepping in. Good question, Tony. Tony's asking, is Virginia in the top 25? I don't remember, but I'm going to look to see if they were in the others receiving votes category. Virginia was pretty far down. They got one vote alongside Tulane and Western Michigan and Liberty. So whatever you want to call it, they're 26, 27, 30. So they're somewhere tied for 45th in the AP poll going right now. There is no poll this week. There will not be any updates this week after week 0. If I'm not mistaken, we won't see any changes until after Labor Day. But they're pretty far down. But maybe they take a big leap up depending upon what happens there. Becky says he transferred from Hawaii. Jacksonville State is first and goal at North Dakota's 8-yard line. And he scores. So 7-6 pending the extra point. And San Jose State with the interception against the freshman. 2:24 to go. The over-under might wind up going down, not because USC scores too much, but because San Jose State does. Completed throw out to first down and a few more yards after that. San Jose State is driving. They are in USC territory. Becky, care to comment on how the defenses look for SC? I mean, I don't think they've looked particularly great. Every time I've looked up, San Jose State has had a few impressive plays. NDSU causing themselves some problems with 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on that drive, leading to a touchdown for Jack State. For Virginia, it's 2nd and 15. After that false start. USC's defense looked good against the run, but they're getting beat deep and they aren't covering the middle of the field well at all in terms of their passing offense. Third and 7 for the Cavaliers, under 14 to play. 221 yards rushing for the Cavaliers, 57 for NC State. Fourth down for the Cavaliers. Looking to the sidelines. Tribula is still on, so it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 4. In NFL news, Kirk Cousins is going to be named the starter for the Raiders, so Mendoza is going to be sitting. It just looks like Virginia is going to snap it. Tribula drops back to pass and is able to convert for a first down. There is a flag on the play. We'll have to see if it's defensive or not. And the penalties against NC State, so it will be a first down. Virginia continues to drive the ball. SC is getting some pressure up front, but their secondary is suspect. Penalty was on NC State. Previously dump pass up to the right-hand side. Gain of 1. North Dakota State has their third drive of the first quarter with 4:09 left to go. A nice return. 35 yards on that kickoff. Second and 9 for Virginia on the NC State 23-yard line. Run right up the middle, getting pushed by their linemen. Be 3rd and 1 after a gain of 8. NC State completely unimpressive on both sides of the ball today. And another run for Virginia. It'll be first down on the 12-yard line as the clock continues to roll. San Jose State had a perfect opportunity for a touchdown, just completely dropped right there. It's 2nd and goal for San Jose State against SC. North Dakota State's already moving the ball downfield, convert the first down, and then on the second series, another run to the left, gain of 4 or 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down in that game. And San Jose State scores again, a 7-yard rushing touchdown. So it's 42-24 pending the extra point. The over is in on the USC San Jose State game. And the cover for SC is absolutely dead. Jordan Kane says UVA has gone conservative. They haven't had to do anything other than that. SC's had 5 penalties. They've helped San Jose State. Jordan was welcome up to the chat. Appreciate it. Not loving the USC defense. Yeah, there's not a lot to love right now. San Jose State's going for 2. And they're able to get it after a lot of scrambling there. So 42-26, 16-point game, 1:45 to go. Stranger things have happened. They probably won't, but they have happened. UVA is 3rd and 2 from the 4-yard line. They can get a first down. Direct snap. The running back is not able to get the first down. It'll be 4th and 2 from the 4-yard line. Tony asks, what do I think that Penn State's record is going to be? I do have a thought of what their record is going to be. And let me just pull up their schedule again, because I haven't done it in a second. I'm more optimistic about Penn State than Bob is. They're playing at Marshall, that's a win. At Temple, that's a win. Buffalo's a win. Home against Wisconsin, I'm giving that to Penn State. At Northwestern, 5-0, I think they start. I think they lose at SC. I think they lose at Michigan. They beat Purdue. They lose at Washington. They win versus Rutgers, and they win versus Maryland. I think they're 9-3 or 8-4, and I think it depends upon the outcome against your Gophers. That's a big game on November 14th, probably for both teams. I'd say they're an 8-4 or 9-3 team in my estimation. I'm curious what Becky thinks about the Washington Huskies. I have them coming in 4th in the Big Ten, and if the Big Ten gets 4 bids, which I'm not actually predicting, they would be the 4th. And after what I saw from SC today, I feel even more confident in that. North Dakota State continues driving with 49 seconds left in the first quarter, that is. It'd be nice if they scored before the first quarter is up. And Virginia goes in with another rushing touchdown, up 30-8 on NC State. Very disappointing game. I was looking forward to a really good game here. If you're Virginia, you're thrilled. But I actually don't know what you can definitely take away from it, because now I don't know if NC State just sucks. I'm not sure. I'm not going to buy into the week 0 thing after last year. On 1st and 10, North Dakota State almost gets the touchdown, but is ruled out of bounds. Be 2nd and 10 with 13 seconds left to go. Yes, Bob, I know I'm happier. I'm higher on your guys, but I'm not like super high. At 9-3, 8-4, I think is fairly reasonable. That schedule is definitely favorable for sure. TD for UVA. If you're an NC State fan, what are you thinking right now about the rest of your season? Like, are you just writing this off as Virginia's really good or we're really bad? Becky Go Husky says she had Washington going 5th, placing 5th in the Big Ten, going 9-3, losing to SC, Indiana, and Oregon. But now she's comfortable saying 10-2 and top 4. That Indiana game, Indiana travels to the Huskies. Big game in the Big Ten later in the year. Becky Go Huskies says they could be 10-0 before playing Indiana. They could very well be. Mama Duck Greg is always cold. That's the secret. That's why I'm so glad he did not pick Miami to win the national championship. My UNLV versus Memphis prediction, well, I picked it a week ago before I knew that UNLV wasn't going to be able to figure out who their damn quarterback was. But I did pick UNLV to cover the spread and win that game. I think that it's going to take a second for Memphis with Huff as their new coach, but not like a long time. I think Memphis is going to be good in the American. I just thought UNLV was more ready, but now I'm not so sure. I don't know which way that one's going to go. I wouldn't touch that game with Greg's bankroll. Washington has a brutal Big Ten opener. So North Dakota State does not cover the first quarter half point that I thought that they would do because of the excitement, because they weren't able to convert there. They'll probably have a bad beat and score on the next play. Thanks for joining, Becky. Appreciate it. And last comment there, yes, the brutal Big Ten opener. It's against Minnesota. So we got Huskies and Gophers going at it. Terror 30 Will says Kenton Gibbs covered his NC State program well. The defense likely has no one after the portal. Recently, he reported Popo was the talk of camp. I mean, you got to have something better than what we just saw, though. 31-8, Virginia up on NC State. I mean, it's not over, but it's pretty damn over. SC unimpressive to me in their opener against San Jose State. Props to San Jose State. Maybe there's some upside there for the Spartans. They have a couple of easier games coming up before they get into the rest of their Mountain West schedule. Playing Eastern Michigan and Cal Poly out of conference before that slate begins. Definitely a rough one for the Wolfpack today. Nothing's gone right. See if they could put some garbage time scores up, work on their offense for the future games, but and North Dakota State's driving first down there, conversion. I think they're in the red zone or else they're just on the outside. Yeah, and James Kane Bailey has the look that he did against Miami last year at Hard Rock. Defeated and wants to leave. I think there's a gap in him. There's a leadership gap. I don't watch every NC State game, but the few that I've watched that have not gone right for him, you can read it all over him and not in an emotionally rallying kind of perspective. He's got to snap out of that. It's not going to benefit him if he has aspirations to play later. Yeah, old dad says, and you got it right. USC's second half did not impress, and I know they took out Maeva, but still, SC's seconds are more talented on paper than anyone San Jose State is putting up, with a few exceptions. North Dakota State's 2nd and 10 on Jack State's 15-yard line. You know, I think I'm going to err on giving Cavaliers some credit here, but NC State just looked like dog crap too. NC State takes over on their own 25-yard line. See if Bailey can do anything here in the hurry-up offense. First play is a 5-yard out, a 5-yard pass over the middle, completed. That's not going to do it. Incomplete on second down. Nothing's working for the Wolfpack today. The meltdown, I'm sure, on the board is going to be pretty tremendous. We'll watch this series here with NC State, see if something weird happens. If not, I'm probably going to wrap it up, save the voice, potentially come back on later on tonight for a wrap-up of everything once the games are done. Bailey back to pass. Pressured, scrambles out, gets some more, opens up some more space. Trying to direct traffic instead of just running with the ball when he had an open lane. Gets tripped up for a short gain of 1 yard there. Yeah, like Tony Franklin, remember, a year ago right now, he was on the hot seat for the Cavaliers. And now he's, had an impressive season last year. You can't take anything away from what he did. Loses, the magic there at quarterback that really drove a lot of that. Gets Pribula in, who I'm not that high on. He looked very good today with the dual threat aspects. NC State's defense was atrocious so far today. NC State cannot convert. Turnover on downs. 6:37 to go. Going to take a last few comments here and wrap this one up early. We're in the early stages of Jacksonville State and North Dakota State, getting ready for for a few other games at the top of the hour. What do we got? We've got at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. We've got Hawaii and Stanford. A couple of key injuries in that game on either side of the ball for both of those teams. Late breaking today. New Mexico State heading over to Florida State on the CW. God bless TV deals. And then later on tonight on Fox, late East Coast time, 10 o'clock, Memphis at UNLV. I appreciate everyone who's sat with us for all our part of these afternoon games, as unexciting as they were, but football was back. Enjoyed the chat. I want to thank Moen for gifting those super memberships, Becky Go Huskies, and Mama Duck Clemson Tiger for joining. And so those of you who gave some of the jewels and all commented, please, again, before we wrap up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Again, check out our socials. We'll probably be back on later tonight. We'll confirm that later on. Rough day for the Wolfpack. Not an impressive day for SC. And I don't even know what to make of the Fighting Bill Belichick's or TCU after that game. I know I'm personally going to go check out Numbskull News to see his mental breakdown of whatever he thought he saw from his Horned Frogs. And hopefully I'll catch some of you guys later on tonight. Remember, of course, College Football Mafia, Moen After Dark, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern as well. And hit those notifications because you never know lately when I'm dropping something live or dropping a video. Hopefully I'll catch some of you guys later on tonight. Thank you all for the support. I greatly appreciate it, more than you know. And we will catch you guys all on the next one.